Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving you my first day reactions to patch 11.1, my raw, unedited opinion of the patch and everything so far. How great is it? What classes are looking good after just the first day, and where do I see this going? So you can see here in this, I've managed to get the new arena. This arena is going to be available in the solo shuffle format, and it's quite hectic. It starts off by just dropping you from a platform into the arena, and immediately you will see a very, close resemblance to Blade's Edge Arena with these kind of 3 ramps leading to a central bridge with these 2 pillars towards the back side of it. And you can see that it's quite an open field map. It's likely going to be, really beneficial to melee DPS, in particular DPS that have the ability to do double jump mechanics, whether you're playing the Drakthir or a Demon Hunter, or you have a lot of jump mechanics like Gust of Wind or Wild Charge or Disengage. There's gonna be a lot of ways for you to navigate over these, jump over chasms to get to another side of the map to try and kite some DPS, or to avoid enemy attackers towards the top side. So I'm interested to see how it plays out, because it doesn't play exactly like Blade's Edge Arena, but it definitely seems to be more beneficial towards melee DPS. You can tell almost based on the classes in this arena match that a lot of people were very interested in Hunter, as it got the biggest touch up. I think most noticeably Marksmanship Hunter. So I wanted to give it a go, and it felt really fun. It felt really awesome, really strong. And I was playing with Lone Wolf with no pet, and they actually made a lot of improvements to some feedback and criticism that specialization was receiving. So you're actually able to use Roar of Sacrifice and Master's Call even when you're crowd controlled now, even without a pet. So it's actually almost superior to play without a pet, because now you don't need to worry about your pet being in range or your pet being CC'd. You're going to be able to use those cooldowns whenever you need to. And also the return of double tap, which I was able to just exploit right there to get the killing blow on this Hunter. You can activate double tap with True Shot and Volley, and it just makes your aim shot just go pew, 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 does a ton of damage. It's really fun. I've really been enjoying it. I really like the Eagle pet. I've been waiting to be able to play Hunter without a pet and actually have it be viable. So I'm likely going to be spending quite a bit more time with this specialization. I wanted to get onto Fire Mage a little bit. I tried some Frost because it looked like Frost was looking really OP, and it definitely is still really strong. I think on today's session on my stream, which is linked in the description down below, I'm definitely going to be giving Fire Mage a go. I really tested out Warrior, I tested out Hunter, and I tested out Death Knight for the first day. And obviously there was a lot of shenanigans with the servers. You weren't able to get on for a long time. Things were laggy. My UI was completely broken. So please bear with me with that fact. As the servers get more stable and as we get more information, we're gonna be able to relay that to you more effectively. But I really enjoy it. You can just go over a True Shot double tap, a Volley double tap, and you can just absolutely blast. We get Burrow, we get Aspect of the Turtle. I'm critting 2.5 millis. Everybody's hitting really hard. It honestly feels like a completely different expansion as far as pacing, especially for the classes that got really big benefits like Warrior. When I was playing Warrior, your Mortal Strike just hits so hard now, and they giga buffed the Demolish build to try and make it more viable. You can also see here that I am playing not Dark Ranger, and I really like the Sentinel Owl change. You can see that blue circle moving towards the target, and it's great for zoning pillars. So like this map where it's small and they can line of sight around that box, I can use the Sentinel with my rapid fire to kind of force them off of the pillar, and I really like those types of mechanics in PvP when everybody's turtling all day like this. So I can use Volley on one side, I can double tap the other side of the pillar, and I can kind of zone out a pillar and gain really good control of it, which is really fun. I was having a really good time with it, with Marksman in particular. But back on the Warrior thought, Warrior's smacking, it's hitting really hard. I had some concerns for things like Rogue, especially Subtlety Rogue, because they were making a lot of changes to it. I engaged in a lot of world PvP with Subtlety Rogues. I'm going to be uploading some YouTube shorts of those, because those are some pretty epic engagements with them, but they seemed strong. I think that they're likely going to be a lot healthier than they were in the first patch. So if you were somebody coming into this second patch and wondering how the game balance is going to be, what's going on, I will say it's a little bit of a fiesta as everybody's figuring out what's happening. A lot of expectations weren't necessarily met as far as classes that I thought would underperform. So something like Enhancement Shaman I thought was actually going to be underperforming, but from the Enhancement Shamans that I saw, that was not the case. It was still absolutely shredding people. Probably would have completely destroyed people if they didn't make a lot of the changes and nerfs that they had to the specialization. So it kind of brought it more in line, which I think is really good. I feel like the game is in a state where everybody feels busted, but not necessarily to a point where it's like completely unmanageable. It's like a healthy level of busted, if that even makes sense. So you can see disengaging across the gaps like that, landing roots and trying to get distance. I think that this map will likely be fun if you're one of those specializations. It seems like it's going to be kind of like a, you know how Mugumbala is a great map for Warlocks, where you kind of get that portal on the balcony. This is going to be a great map for DPS that have a lot of jumps, Super Mario classes that can kind of go up and down. I think this is going to be kind of their home turf, and where they're going to get an edge, which likely means that in like tournament format, we would probably see this map picked if teams have those types of compositions, or if those compositions are in the meta. So overall, I think I like it. Maybe I'll end up being more frustrated by it when I start playing classes like a Warlock. I could just only imagine if I was a Warlock on this map with a Hunter and a Shaman running me down like this, and not really. Maybe you just put your portal in the middle of the middle of the bridge and just jump off the side of it, and your healer just heals from the box on one side or something, because it's very difficult to discern like where you should put a port. Now obviously they adjusted crowd control thresholds as well, and you can see that I'm not playing Diamond Dice, and I will say that I think it's been improved dramatically. I didn't notice any of my freezing traps breaking, and considering the amount of AoE damage that you can see that we're just blasting out right now, and basically anybody in the game blasts out, my freezing traps weren't breaking unless the priest faded it or deathed it, which was good. That's how they wanted the interaction to be, was that mechanics that let healers outplay CC are still going to break CC. But if you can secure CC and get through those mechanics, you're going to be able to get the traps or polymorphs, and they're not going to break. I think there was one point where I saw a Ring of Frost, and I deliberately attacked it a little bit, and it still wouldn't break. Now, Ring of Frost already had a higher threshold, so I'm wondering if they might have double dipped Ring of Frost a little bit harder than it needed to be, and because it felt like I could actually attack a Ring of Frost for quite a substantially long period of time. Right here, like I got a freezing trap on that priest. We're cleaving some AoE, the Sentinel Isle's down, it doesn't break the trap, we're able to secure the kill. So if you're somebody who is coming into the first patch with criticisms like, oh my god, my CC chains, they're breaking from all the AoE they've added for classes for Mythic Plus, this is really frustrating. I feel like they've remedied that problem quite substantially. Discipline Priest was another specialization I think that was really kind of just nobody knows where it's going to end up landing, and I think it's still really strong. Even without Rapture, it's still really strong. It's a really good healer. I saw a lot of healer viability. A lot of people switched off Holy Paladin, actually, which was, you know, debatably the strongest healer of patch number 1. And I've just been seeing a tremendous amount of diversity from the healers. Queue times have been a lot healthier as well. Obviously, that's because of new patch. Everybody's coming back. But I think there's been a lot of improvements. I think the healer balance is one of them. There's a lot of cool new stuff to explore in classes. The balance changes when I was concerned about things being too OP. It might be a little bit too OP, but I'm sure that they're going to be reining things in, and that's where we're going to see as far as updates. So make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of those updates. But I was actually pleasantly surprised, you know, for the patch where I was kind of like, hey, what's going on? We haven't really heard a lot about PvP. A lot of the interviews are just like strictly raid focused, it seems like, or strictly dungeon focused, and we don't really get to hear a lot for PvP. It's really solid, even despite that. I think it's really solid. I'm going to be playing the crap out of Hunter this season, I think, for sure. Although Boomkin, I saw a couple of them, and that guy's moving with Ultimate Penitence. I did not know you could do that. Okay, you can move in Ultimate Penitence now. All right, that's poggers for Priest here. There's a Sentinel Owl, dude. I got that behind the pill with the blue circle. They increase the radius. Pew pews around the corner. It's just like this orbital drone strike that you get as a hunter. It's really cool. I had a lot of fun with this. And I feel like a lot of classes have stuff to explore, and I still have stuff that I don't even know, right? Like Fire Mage, which is the one that I said I was going to check out first, and I was like, I got to play Hunter. I got to try Hunter. And then it was like, oh god, Warrior looks really good. I got to try Warrior. And then Fire Mage kind of just went down the list. Frost DK still seems really strong. I know some people were trying pet builds on Unholy DK. I don't know how that went for them as far as viability. I think Unholy DK is still kind of the one spec up in the air as far as like how strong or how good it's going to feel for this patch. But I will say, you know, ignoring the lag and ignoring the server stability, and considering the volume of changes here, we got Freezing Trap around the corner. It's not going to break. Even the Sentinel Owl's down, even those AoE, CC like that, you can actually get CC chains. Really good improvement to the game. Healers may be a little bit tilted by it, but I think that that's a healthy change to the game that they listen to feedback on. And we haven't seen MMR reset. I would say like here's maybe like some of the cons of the patch right now, which is that you can't really grind anything. Yeah, basically you can just do the campaign, which honestly the campaign is really good, even if you're somebody who doesn't really care about the story or anything like that. I'll say the zone is awesome. I really like the zone, the aesthetic, the story, the characters. They really give you characters to hate and dislike. So I think they actually did a really good job with it, to where it's kind of worth just doing it. You may want to do it also because I think PvP world quests in that zone, I don't know if they'll be there if you do the campaign or not. And obviously you need to do it to even get into the zone. So maybe do the campaign up to the point where you can see the world quests at least, because those PvP world quests are going to give you some upgrades throughout the season with bloody tokens and stuff like that. So I do think it is worth it in that sense if you really care. If you don't have a lot of time, it's not going to put you behind by a massive margin. You'll probably catch that gap up within like the first 2 weeks. And it's like less than maybe a 2% difference or improvement in that regard. So don't be too concerned with that. But the story is really good. Even I'm somebody who says like I like small changes, no dramatic shifts, small improvements over time to try and put the game into a better spot. And I had really big concerns that they were doing way too much and like this is going to be crazy and I don't know what's going to happen. The game's going to break. I'm going to be really tilted. We don't hear a lot of stuff from PvP interviews, but I feel like it kind of just worked out. And I feel like if anything is egregious as this week goes on and as the season goes on, I feel like it's just like a couple of PvP tuning snips and you've got the game in a really solid spot in that regard. So I think it's really good. I think it's fun. I think it feels at least a little bit fresh, especially for the specializations that might have felt weaker on patch 1 and classes have a lot of new stuff to explore. So overall, I'm positive, and I do think that they'll clear up the lag in the servers and some of the bugs as things go on. So those are my thoughts for the patch so far. First day reaction, I'm going to be jumping onto it again probably almost immediately here. So again, stream linked in the description down below. Had a blast. Hope you guys come back, check it out. I'm sure at some point something's going to get frustrating, something's going to go wrong as it always does, or people are just going to get bored probably and move on to something at some point. But for right now, I would say that this is good. This is good. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of little discussion. If you did, make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you guys very much, and I will see you in the next one.